The S6, let me just run through what it looks like on the outside. We have two buttons on top. One is to record and flip your screen from the back to the front by holding it down. The other is to turn the camera on. We go down to the side. Behind this little rubber lock has your USB-C charging and another output cable for your video and your photos. If we look underneath, we have a quarter 20. The quarter 20 is quite shallow, so it will work on most of your tripod plates, but if you put a longer thread in, it will struggle to find its purchase and will spin on that. Then we have our battery bay, much improved from previous battery bays. Has a battery here that you can slide out. You can buy extra batteries and a charger should you need them, and a micro SD card that fits in there. Then we go around the side and we have our up and down, so they zoom and allow you to move through the menus. Got a lens on the front and a big screen on the back. Gives a nice little beep when it turns on, and you orientate around it like you would most other action cameras. So let's start by having a look at what the different menus on this camera can do. This button down the bottom left hand, if you press that, you get all your photo options. So you can go normal video, time lapse, slow motion, night scene, car looping, video and photo, and underwater. You can also select photo. If you go photo, you can choose from a normal photo, time-lapse photo. You can time your photo, so be a certain amount of time happens before it takes a photo. Burst photo takes a number of photos when you press the button. You have a long exposure, which is up to a second. You can take a raw photo, and this was taken as a JPEG, is 20 megapixels, whilst the raw was only 12 megapixels. So let's talk about the normal video. So if I go normal video and I have the choice, I can shoot at 4K and 30 frames a second, or 4K 30 frames a second with super view. 2.7, I can only go 30 frames a second. Once I drop down to 1440, I can shoot at 60 frames a second. Then I can go 30 frames a second. If I go to 1080p, I can shoot up to 120 frames a second, which is about 50% slow motion. Then I have 1080p at 60, 1080p 60 at super view, 1080p at 30, and then 30 super view. Then I can go to 720 up to 240. That's super slow, but 720 is a lesser resolution. So if you're going to put something on YouTube, you wouldn't want to go 720, but if you're going to put it on your phone to show your mates, 720 is totally fine. And 240 frames a second means you can slow it down enormously to get very slow motion results. Then we can go to 120, 60, and 30, and you can choose your options between them. Now, interestingly, if we go back to this video and we choose slow motion, look at what it does. It gives us 1440 at p60, so it gives us the highest resolution with the frame rate at 60, and you can't exactly, I don't think, increase that. No, that's top of the field, but you can double the slow motion by going to 1080p. And what that does is it takes off your ability to have stabilization. So stabilization, which is gyro EIS, isn't available with that mode. So here's a sample of what the slow motion looks like. And I did that in a variety of ways. We played it out with the swimming pool and we went underwater. Then after doing that, I went and put it in underwater mode and took it underwater, and these are the results of that. And I'm just showing you what the camera can do, what its limitations are. This camera isn't waterproof. So previous versions of it have been waterproof. This camera isn't waterproof. You need the case to put it in. The case is really firm, fits really well, has external buttons, but you don't have access to the touch screen. So make sure your touch screen is set to the settings you want before you close it up. And I've found that sometimes this seal can be a little bit dicey. So make sure your seal is really fitting and sitting in the curves, and then it closes up really nice and tightly. It's quite easy to apply and keeps the camera very dry, as I have personally experienced.